Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello guys, welcome to my video. And today I want to explain to you about the function of art. The typically of art is music. This video created by myself. My name is Alia Putri with a student number 2215240. I'm a student of English Educational Department in Miftahul Ulum Islamic College Tanjung Pinang on 4th semester. The table of content in this material are introduction, definition of music, description and example, classification, sequence, comparison and contrast, cause and effect, problem and solution, persuasion and evaluation, and the last is closing. What is definition of art? Art is the expression of application of human creative skill and imagination, typically in a visual form such as painting or sculpture, producing work to be appreciated primarily for their beauty or emotional power. So, how about definition of music? Music is an art form that combines either vocal or instrumental sounds, sometimes both, using form, harmony, and expression of emotion to convey an idea. Music represents many different forms that play key factor in the culture around the world. A description of music when asked by the musician is quite challenging for them to put into a word. There is something unique into each artist which music makes people feel a specific way in the world. John Coltrane described his music as, "My music is the spiritual expression of what I am, my faith, my knowledge, and my being." When you begin to see the possibilities of music, you desire to do something really good for people, to help humanity free itself from its hang-ups. I want to speak to their soul. Aristotle took music to be fundamentally imitative and agreed that music has propensity to affect the human soul. There seemed to be in us a sort of affinity to musical modes and rhythm, he said, which ensure that we are affected in a certain manner. Music is a collection or coordinate sound or sounds. Making music is the process of putting sound and tones in order, often combining them to create an unified composition. People will make music creatively organize sounds to a desired result, like a Beethoven symphony or War of Duke Ellington's jazz music. Music is made of sound, vibration, and silent moments, and it doesn't always have to be pleasant or pretty. It can be used to convey a wide range of experience, environments, and emotions. Almost every human culture has a tradition of making music. Examples of early instruments like flutes or drums have been found dating back thousands of years. Ancient Egyptians used music in religious ceremonies. Many another African cultures have traditionally related to drumming for important rituals. Today, pop and rock musicians tour and perform around the world, singing the songs that make them famous. All of these are examples of music. Description of music. The point is characteristic of music. Each type of musician art has its own characteristic, so that each type for music art has a different character from another. Well, here are the types and the characters that exist in the art of music. 1. Traditional music. Traditional music can also be divided into two types, namely, folk international. It originates from the culture of the community, has a simple form and integrate with the people life. And classical traditional is the art of the folk music that has undergone refinement in the form of an artistic environment. so that the results are more refined and are usually performed and by core artists. For example, include Karawitan and Javanese gending. The characteristics of traditional music are: point 1. Nature. Calm and solemn, because usually this traditional music will be performed for certain sacred ritual ceremonies. Point 2 is audience. Constant nature of traditional music and artists. Point 3 is visibility. The distance between the audience and the music is relatively close, and they usually don't even need loudspeakers anymore. Point 4 is relationship. The staging system between the musician and the audience only take place in one direction. Point 5 is spatial acoustic. Becomes important in order to obtain sound clarity, especially for artists. If there are sound disturbance in the room such as echoes and noise, this can reduce comfort when enjoying the show. Next is modern music. The existence of modern music is easier to find in the development of modern society like today. Let's say there is pop, jazz, rock, EDM, blues, R&B, rap, reggae, and many more. The characteristics of modern music are: point 1 is personality, free and relaxed. In modern music performance, there are no binding rules, so the musician improve more to take their appearance more attractive. Point 2 is audience, general public with various age range. Point 3 is visibility. The distance between the musician and the audience is relatively close and even free, not frequently. The audience will be invited to sing along so that the atmosphere becomes more lively. Point 4 is relationship. There is two-way relationship or communication between musician and the audience. Point 5 is spatial acoustic. Not much of the priority because the audience is more focused on the appearance of the musician on the stage than the sound produced by the musician. Therefore, is it not uncommon for musicians to use the lip sync technique? And the last is lighting. Using special lighting for live even up the atmosphere. Usually they use the laser light as a stage background, firework, and others. Okay, next is the characteristic of contemporary music. Contemporary music is a type of music that exists on the postmodern era as a form of returning to the seek culture and social values in art. The characteristics of contemporary music are: point 1 is personality with a calm and relaxed. Even though its music is basically traditional music, to the process of improvisation using modern technology, it will produce new music creations that are more relaxed. Not frequently, his appearance is also more relaxed and free, alias no rigid. Next point is audience. Artists, music observed, and general public. Next is visibility. There is a distance between the stage as in the audience, namely so that the audience can watch toward the stage freely and clearly. Apart from that, the musician can move around to the stage area. The next point is relationship. There is often two-way communication between the musician and the audience in the form of dialogue to break up the atmosphere. The next point is spatial acoustic, becomes an important thing because in this type of contemporary music, apart from being enjoying from the attraction of the stage, it is also the quality of the music. And the last point of the characteristic of contemporary music is lighting. Is being important, especially to support and the value of the existing music. And the last type of characteristic of music is in the classical music. Basically, classical music was born from European culture around 17 and 8 and 15 to 18 and 25. And the characteristic of classical music are the personality is calm and full of concentration. This is because the appearance of this type of music. The audience is artists, music observers, and the general public. The visibility in the characteristic is there distance between the stage and the audience. This is so that both parties also get the freedom view. The relationship is communication between the musician and the audience takes place in one direction, so that the audience only enjoys it. The spatial acoustic is important because in this type of music is perfection of the performance. It is the quality of the success, so sound disturbance should be avoided as much as possible. And the last point is lighting, and there is a spatial lighting towards the stage. Next point on this material is classification music as art. First is traditional music. As you know, traditional music is the type of music that originates from a tradition in area that live and develop in its community. This traditional music tends to be used as a local culture because it's directly related and seems to integrate into the daily life of the people. This traditional music can also be divided into two types. They are folk traditional and classical traditional. Next is modern music. Modern music is a piece of music that based on the principle of modernism, namely by emphasizing universalist values. The existence of modern music is easier to find in the development in a modern society like today. Let's say the pop, jazz, rock, EDM, blues, R&B, rap, reggae, and many more. The next type of music is contemporary, and the classification music as art is contemporary music is the type of the music that exists in the postmodern era as a form of returning to seek cultural and social values in art. And how about the classical music? Basically, classical music is the music that was born on the European culture around the 17 and 15 to 18 and 25. And classical music is often associated with the classicism, a style of art, literature, and architecture from Europe, especially in the 18th century. One of the main characters of this musician and the musical genre is giving more meaning to the instrumental music. Argue that musical genre also be used as an educational tool as well as to sharpen human and intelligence because it has three elements of balance, namely melody, rhythm, and timbre or tone color. Example of classical music works that are still known and played in orchestra, for example, Four Seasons Spring by Antonio Vivaldi, Canon in D major by Johann Passibel, Toccata and Fugue by the minor by G.S. Bach, Eine kleine Nachtmusik by W.A. Mozart, and the Blue Danube by Johann Strauss too. The sequence in music. In music, the sequence is restatement of the motif of longer melodic or harmonic passage at a higher on the lower pitch in the same voice. First, it is one of the most common and simple method of elaborating a melody in 18th and 19th century classical music. Classical period and romantic music. The characteristic of sequence are, by the two segments, usually no more than 3 or 4. usually in only one direction, continually higher and lower. The segment continue by same interval distance. The comparison and the contrast of music as art. Visual art uses color, light, darkness, sharps, and more to invoke emotions. Music uses instrument, key change, sound, lyric, and more to do the same. Many painters create work that were inspired by the specific song and genre, while many musicians have been inspired by paintings and other visual works of art. Art and music is influencing each other. On their own, art and music share the common element of evoking an emotional response, but together they heighten the listening and viewing experience. A painting that is complemented by music can unlock new emotions and interpretation from the viewer. The function of music as art. Music art function. Of course, the existence of the art music in everyday human life provide many benefits. As is the case with other works of art, well, here are the function or benefit of the art of music in human life. 1. As a means of self-expression. 2. As a commercial means. 3. As a means of communication. 4. As a means of creativity. 5. As a means of therapy. 6. As an educational facilities. 7. As a ceremonial means. 8. As a means of dance, and the last is as a means of the entertainment. Cause and effect. Cause and effect in music as a art that the right song can set any desired mood and cause your thought to melt away. Music causes people to sit down and study, get up and dance, and it might even them angry or sad. It has such a bearing in your life and affect our moods and action more than we think. Research has shown that music can positively impact plants and animals, and scientists discovered that it can also provide beneficial effect to human health. And today, music therapy is a popular and effective way to treating psychological disorders. So, what are the positive effects of music on the human brain and human health? First, music can decrease the risk of heart attack and stroke. Music has been found to lower blood pressure, change in the autonomic nervous system such as breathing and heart rate can also be altered by music. Trian Daily Bulletin. This helps to create so-called relaxation response, which is contracting and dramatic effect of chronic stress. The point 2 is music also affects the way our brain functions. It is reported the easy listening and classical music improve the duration and intensity of concentration, all age group and ability levels, or EMET expert. At the same time, another research study has shown that music with a strong beat stimulates brain. The problem and solution. What are the type of music grouping and why it is mostly modern music that is famous in Indonesia? There are 4 types of music: traditional music, modern music, contemporary music, and the classical music. Modern music is growing rapidly due to the increasingly rapid flow of globalization. In Indonesia, which is located very strategically, was also affected by this. A lot of modern music is cultured with local culture and eventually develops. How traditional music is important for culture? For centuries, people have used it to celebrate events, express emotion, and preserve cultural heritage. Traditional music from African drumming to Celtic folk music has passed down from generation to generation, keeping cultural tradition alive. Last point is persuasion and evaluation. Music is an important component of persuasion and persuade in ways such as in reinforcing advertising image, serving as memory device, and influencing receiving moods. To overlook, smell can also be used in persuasion if the right conditions are met. Various studies have proven the proven effect of music on mood and emotion, and some have suggested that our brain respond more to melody than language. Music evoke emotion and emotion drive decision, making music a potentially effective way to persuade within advertising. Evaluation of musical works is often intended to draw attention to those works on which time spent in promotion, performance, and listening is or not time waste. It is truism that no one has unlimited time for listening to music. Listening to music is an activity for which time can be made. Okay guys, so this is the end of this video. Thank you for your attention, your participation, and for your support. And I'm sorry if I have a mistake. Thank you. See you on the next video. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.